It is easy to look at modern TikTok trends and worry about the future of humanity. But history is a good reminder that human beings have always been willing to risk agonizing organ failure just to look slightly better in a mirror. Number 10. The Fletcherising diet. Welcome to early 1900s, where a man named Horace Fletcher convinced the world's elite that the secret to health was turning your mouth into a human industrial blender. His formula was simple. If you chew your food long enough, your body absorbs the nutrients and ignores the calories. Fletcher's golden rule required chewing every single bite exactly 32 times or until it completely liquefied. If the food couldn't be turned into liquid, etiquette demanded spitting the remaining dry pulp directly into a napkin. The actual practice wasn't deadly, but it was a social nightmare. Imagine sitting at high society dinner party in absolute silence because everyone is too busy mechanically chewing a single pea for 4 minutes. Fletcher was so obsessed with his life hack that he regularly inspected his own bowel movements, proudly claiming they smelled like warm biscuits, which is a great way to lose weight. Mostly because absolutely no one will ever invite you to lunch again. Number 9. Lord Byron's Vinegar diet. Long before Instagram, a 19th century English poet named Lord Byron functioned as history's very first toxic lifestyle influencer. He completely mastered the art of selling a carefully cultivated aesthetic. He was romantic, moody, and absolutely terrified of gaining weight. To maintain his iconic pale, starving artist brand, he launched a daily routine that was essentially a declaration of war on his own stomach lining. His daily meal plan consisted of drenching absolutely everything in vinegar. He drank apple cider vinegar by the glass, ate potatoes completely smashed in vinegar, and chain-smoked cigars just to suppress the inevitable crying of his gastrointestinal tract. Naturally, the trend went viral offline because teenagers wanted to copy his deeply troubled, poetic vibe. But instead of achieving spiritual depth, they just got severe acid reflux. Byron's diet didn't kill him, but it did give him a lifetime of chronic vomiting and diarrhea. Number 8. The Cigarrete diet. Tobacco companies in 1920 realized they had a slight marketing problem. Smoking gives you lung cancer. But they also noticed a highly marketable side effect of the dead sticks. Nicotine suppresses your appetite. This led to the American tobacco company's legendary campaign for Lucky Strike, which urged customers to reach for a lucky instead of a sweet. The corporate marketing was beautifully evil. Why eat chocolate bar that makes you fat when you can inhale toxic smoke that keeps you thin? The strategy worked perfectly. Millions of women replaced breakfast with free cigarettes. And to be fair, the followers didn't get fat, they just got lung cancer, yellow teeth, and premature ticket to the respiratory ward. But at least they looked incredibly glamorous in the oncology waiting room. Number 7. The cigarette ash and grapefruit diet. If replacing actual food with cigarettes wasn't quite self-destructive enough, 1930s Hollywood decided to get really freaking creative and literally combine the two. Grapefruit diets were absolutely massive. People genuinely believed the fruit contained mystical fat-burning enzymes gifted by the gods of metabolism. But some Hollywood stars weren't patient enough. Why wait for science to work when you could just season your meal with fresh cigarette ash? So they did. They flicked it directly onto their steaks. They stirred it into water. They treated it like a gourmet garnish. The strategy was breathtaking in its honesty. Destroy your appetite so thoroughly that you physically cannot eat. Spoiler alert, it worked. But only because people were actively poisoning themselves with heavy metals and industrial chemicals. No fat was being burned. What was actually happening was your body would reject the poison by making you violently sick. Truly, a golden age of cinema. Number 6. Arsenic weight loss pills. During the Victorian era, the hottest fashion trend was looking like a beautiful, fragile corpse. To achieve this ghostly aesthetic with super tiny waist, people turned to one of history's most reliable assassins, the good old arsenic. 19th century pharmacies sold weight loss pills packed with this deadly chemical. The reasoning behind this madness was that it sped up metabolism. Through this, your metabolism wasn't speeding up, Your body was just fighting for its absolute life to flush out the poison. Arsenic blocks your body's ability to store fat, and it also blocks your organs from functioning. Take it for too long and your hair fell out, your skin turned a lovely shade of toxic grey, and your kidneys simply quit the game. But on the bright side, you made a very slim corpse. Number 5. The tapeworm diet. The year is 1910. You want to have a cheat day and eat 12-course meal without gaining an ounce. The solution is simple. Hire a full-time internal contractor to digest that absolute monstrosity of food for you. Advertisements offered pills containing the eggs of beef tapeworms. You swallow the pill, the egg hatches in your intestines, and the parasite grows up to 30 feet long, happily eating half of everything you ingest. The idea was flawless, but the reality was a horror movie. The tapeworm didn't just eat your food, it caused severe malnutrition, anemia, and occasionally decided to lay its own eggs in other parts of your body, like your liver or brain. And when you finally wanted to end the lease, the standard medical procedure involved holding a bowl of warm milk in front of your open mouth to literally lure the giant worm out of your throat. Compared to that, going for a run a few times a week suddenly sounds almost pleasant. Number 4. The Sleeping Beauty diet, allegedly used by King of Pop Elvis Presley. This 1970s method was built on flawless scientific breakthrough. You can't eat if you are unconscious. When followers felt a craving or wanted to skip a few days of calories, they took heavy sedatives, horse-dose sleeping pills or painkillers to knock themselves out for 15 to 20 hours a day. Some extreme Snow White level users had doctors place them into medically induced comas for days at a time. What they actually got was a dangerous cocktail of addiction and muscle wasting. While you slept, your body starved, meaning it didn't just burn fat, it starved your muscles. Combine that with a massive physical addiction to barbiturates and the very high risk of simply forgetting to wake up because your respiratory system shut down, and you have a recipe for a disaster. Number 3. The Cottonball diet. This brings us to the modern internet era, proving that the access to all human knowledge hasn't actually made us any smarter. Emerging in the 2010s on modeling blogs and eventually migrating to TikTok. This method is pure mechanical self-destruction. Take synthetic cotton balls, dip them in orange juice or lemon water so they taste like something, and swallow them whole. The idea was that the cotton would expand in your stomach, creating a feeling of fullness with 0 calories. However, modern cotton balls aren't made of cotton. They are made of bleached polyester plastics. So the followers were literally filling their stomachs with flavored plastics. The human body cannot digest synthetic fibers, so the cotton balls formed a massive, solid, immovable mass in the stomach called bezoar. This completely blocked the digestive tract, leading to emergency surgery, ruptured intestines, and very painful death from septic shock. Number 2. The Prolinn diet. As we reach the top of our list, the absurdity fades into genuine historical tragedy. In 1976, a doctor named Roger Lynn introduced a liquid diet called Prolinn. It promised that by drinking just 400 calories of his special formula a day, the body would safely burn through its own fat reserves. The formula, however, was a nutritional catastrophe. Prolinn was made entirely from hydrolyzed collagen derived from slaughterhouse waste, specifically the ground-up hoofs, horns, hides, and tendons of cattle. It contained absolutely no vitamins, minerals, or essential nutrients, and was artificially flavored with sherry syrup to mask the taste. Millions of people bought the product, and within months, the consequences of extreme nutritional deprivation set in. The body, starved of essential minerals, began to break down its own tissues for survival, including a heart muscle. At least 60 people died of sudden unexpected cardiac arrest while on the diet, forcing health authorities to step in and shut the operation down. Number 1. Bretharianism. The most dangerous diet in human history is one that rebrands human starvation as spiritual enlightenment. Known as Bretharianism, this movement claims that food and water are unnecessary social constructs. Practitioners believe that the human body can be trained to live purely of sunlight, the air, and cosmic energy known as prana. While it may sound like a spiritual breakthrough, it relies entirely on a dangerous delusion. Biology doesn't care about spirituality. A human being without water will die in days, without food in weeks. In 1991, a prominent leader of the movement called Prolinn agreed to be monitored by an Australian television program to prove her claims. Within 4 days of total fasting under medical supervision, she exhibited severe dehydration, kidney stress, and slurred speech, forcing doctors to stop the test before it became fatal. Her excuse was that the hotel air was polluted. Tragically, many of her followers did not have medical teams to intervene. Across the globe, dozens of vulnerable individuals looking for a profound life change took the doctrine literally, isolating themselves in rooms or deserts and simply starved to death in pursuit of an impossible illusion. Anyway, I'm kind of on a breath diet too these days, so all donations in form of subscribers are greatly appreciated. Thank you, take care of yourself, and don't die please.